The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Y'all ready for this?
All right, we are back and coming to you live from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. This is Southern Nevada Sports News, linked up with Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TVcorp.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And just an update so that you're not missing too much action on the game. Still 7-0 Alabama. Just about the end of the first period, about $1.50 left. Bama with the ball, and they're on the Clemson 40, so they are driving. Thank you for joining us on this NCAA Championship Monday.
Yep.
Wild weekend as far as the wild card in the NFL. We're obviously going to be getting into that, but clearly the big news of the day right now is that the game that everybody has been waiting for now for some time, and I think everybody for about as long as 3 weeks ago pretty much had teed up that these were going to be the two top dogs
Absolutely
battling it out. So I think we all, I think maybe I may have actually picked Washington. Yeah, just loyalty to the Pac-12. But the two protagonists are here. So how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Doing
All
really good.
right. First, just a couple of shout-outs. One to our brother, Brett Price. He is under the weather. So he is, that bug that's going around. He is back home in Las Vegas. And Brett, hope you're feeling well, get better, man, as soon as possible so we can have you back by next week.
Absolutely.
Also, a quick shout-out to our buddy, Jorge Mish. George is finally out of the hospital.
Nice.
And hopefully we will have him on the line with us next Monday, but it's good to hear that at least he's out of the hospital for
absolutely.
now. So I think we're going to also be joined shortly by our Mr. Torrance, the NBA guru coming out of Atlanta. So I'm sure he is all jazzed up about the upcoming game.
Oh, yeah, with the Falcons.
Seattle this time will be down in Atlanta, so shouldn't be too many shaky calls, at least we hope. Let's hope it doesn't end the same way it ended up in Seattle.
As long as Detroit's not playing, then there's going to be no shaky calls.
Okay. But anyway, so folks, it's going to be a really good show. But since we are here at Raymond James Stadium, let's talk about the game that's at hand.
Yep.
It's for all the marbles. Obviously, there's it doesn't appear to be. First of all, I'm not predicting anything. But I do see Alabama winning this game.
Yep.
I don't see it being a real high-scoring affair.
We hope not.
I think was it the over and under 51.5?
51, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. I think it'll be the under.
Yes, absolutely.
I do somehow see that Alabama's going to win this game.
They always find a way to. It seems like.
They always do, but there's certainly no shame in losing to these guys.
Yep.
Given their defense, and so far it looks like their defense is still playing tough, but a lot of football left in that game.
Yep. Minute 16 to go in the first period. 7-0.
Yeah.
Scarborough with a 25-yard run. That guy is an absolute beast.
Yeah, he is an absolute beast. Well, I mean that whole team. I mean they're from snout to tail. They are they're designed to win.
Yep.
And it's like a college team playing a bunch of high school teams. And, I'm sure they could certainly give a couple of NFL teams a run for their money.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that NFL team would be laying 3 touchdowns to Bama. And the thing is that the NFL is the top tier from every team, top tier guy from every team.
You have the MVP.
Yeah.
On that position.
Exactly.
Off that team.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically every lineman is probably was a starter, and then they don't have the substitutes, and I just honestly don't think that the DBs could keep up with a lot of the wide receivers in the NFL. A lot of these guys that play DB for colleges, this is their last hurrah.
Yeah.
They're playing semi-pro in a couple of years, so the Browns might be able to get a victory.
I'm old enough to actually remember that at the beginning of every NFL season, there was an all-star game.
Yep.
And it was the college incoming pros, but they were playing as an all-star team against the defending Super Bowl team.
Really?
And, you know, and I thought maybe you might have been old enough to
No, I don't
remember this,
remember
but it used to be played in Soldier Field every year. And they finally, for obvious reasons, you know, kind of put an end to that
because they were destroying careers in one game.
But they would basically get all of these draftees and
Yep.
drafted, and they would have an all-star game, and they would play the defending Super Bowl champion.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know how long it ran, but I remember it as a child. So, please, I'm not making this up, and I hope somebly who's, you know,
I'm
my
actually
age,
going to look
you know,
into
if
that.
George, you know, if we
He
had
would
old
probably
George
be,
online,
yeah.
George
He'd
would
probably
remember.
tell you who coached the last game.
He would probably. And, you know, and I was always kind of rooting for the college kids, you
Of
know,
course.
because, you know, I just, you know, typically I didn't like the team that won the Super Bowl anyway because it wasn't the Rams.
Right.
And, you know, and so I would kind of be rooting for him. You know, and, you know, maybe our, you know, the owner of WWDBTV.com, he might know, John. I mean, he's about my age, so maybe he remembers it. But, you know, I don't know. He's kind of like, yeah, I don't think so. And making it up as I'm going along. Believe me, if you folks out there who are quick on the Google trigger, look it up.
That's right. I'm going to check it out. That's really interesting.
Well, anyway, that's obviously with the one game, and it looks like it's the end of the first, 7-0 Alabama.
Yep.
Clemson has the ball, so whatever it is, they did make a stop on Bama, who was already in Clemson territory. Wild and woolly wild card weekend for the NFL. I think I had 3. I lost 3 out of 4, and the ones I picked were all visiting teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Brett brought to my attention before we finished up last week's show. You know, I think, you know what, I'm going to stop going with my heart and start going with my head. I was really hoping that Detroit was going to beat Seattle.
I think everybody was.
And, you know, and unfortunately they lost. I really thought that the Raiders would show up.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had McClowan suited up, but, you know, I don't know if the guy ever got in the game because, frankly, I turned it off.
Yeah.
You know, clearly Osweiler came to play, and I was still thought that he might, you know, have his ego a bit shot.
I think that he did pretty well, actually. You know, just kind of kept the game just going.
Yeah.
Which is all they really need to do because the Raiders couldn't move the ball at all. I think one of the stats that I saw was they had 77 yards of total offense, and this was in the fourth quarter. And then the drive that they scored a touchdown, that was a 75-yard drive.
Yeah.
So they actually matched their whole total in one drive from the whole game.
Yeah. Well, I know that we're already you know, I think the Raiders. And you made a point before the show even started. If this doesn't really show that Derek Carr was the MVP.
Oh, that's absolutely. There's
you
no
know,
doubt about it.
The difference in that team with and without him.
Yeah.
It was like night and day.
Well, I mean, to put the whole thing on Connor Cook is tough because he wasn't doing first team reps at all, and then basically you give him a week. So he was on the team the whole season, working with the first team for 1 week.
Yeah, and I understand that Connor Cook was the target initially of the Dallas Cowboys. That at one point they were looking to trade up to get him, and but doggone it, they didn't get their man, but and had to settle for Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
well,
that's a tough one.
And I guess the rest is history. Let's see. The other Saturday game was, of course, the Seahawks in Detroit. And, it kind of got a little bit out of hand. Thomas Rawls, I guess he's the new beast mode up in Seattle.
I think that was just because he was playing the Lions.
Well,
No, the Lions could. I mean, they couldn't stop anybody. Their defensive line was getting worked over. I mean, really the last 3 games, it's very difficult to watch being a Lions fan. And I thought that it was the game against Green Bay. I thought that Detroit was having a hard time to stop Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers absolutely shredded the Giants yesterday.
yeah, I mean that, and arguably one of the toughest defenses in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
And
Especially
it was
late.
it was certainly a difference of two halves. Now,
Right.
of course, we had the ending of the first half, which vintage Aaron Rodgers. Let me just go draw it back, roll out. At least he rolled out to his right.
Yeah.
Heave it up. And, and I think I shot you a quick message. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, what the? And then you came back. He pushed off. And
Of course.
it had been a push, but it wasn't enough that, to not see one of the giant DBs in the back jump up. They all stayed on the ground.
Yeah.
And so did the receiver that caught it. Nobody leaped up for it other than I think a few guys in the front.
Yeah.
But it just sort of dropped into his hands. And I'm sitting there looking at this, I'm going you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's happened to us before.
Well,
when we were,
yeah.
when we were at the Kings, remember the Hail Marys, couple of
Jesus,
games,
yeah,
losing
yeah.
with the Hail Marys.
Then of course, but still, the Giants were in a position to really take control of that game in the first half because their defense was playing well. And so you've got that late touchdown, they go in. But here we go. Third quarter, first possession on the part of Green Bay. They go for it on their own 41. They rolled the dice, don't get it. Giants promptly score.
Yep.
So they're only down by one. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers found his stride. And,
But that next
really-
drive was a 5-play drive, and every play was 15-plus yards.
And he made it look easy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And, and so let's also talk about the drop balls.
For the
part of
Giants?
The
Yeah.
Giants. Let's not put us on Eli. I'm not necessarily an Eli Manning fan, but I'm not a hater either.
Right.
And I also realize that there has been a certain amount of luck that has gone with his success. But you got to get there
Yeah.
in order for that luck to take place. He was hitting guys in the hands.
Oh, yeah.
And they were dropping them. And now, granted, it's cold. But, let's face it, if anybody has ever put on a pair of the receiver gloves that these guys use,
They're sticky.
they're sticky.
Yep.
All you have to do is see a couple of demonstrations. I put them on, try it on a pair, and I don't know how you drop if it gets into your hands.
Yeah.
How you actually are still able to drop it, but
Well, there's another guy, 250 pounds, coming after you.
yeah, nobody has been chasing me down.
Yeah.
Or maybe have noticing that I got a bullseye on my chest as he's coming across. So entirely different. But I'm just saying that. But these are guys that thrive in this situation.
Yeah.
And of course, it brings up the trip that they took on Monday, because at the beginning before the game they're out there with no shirts on, strutting around and warming up. Seems kind of odd. And then the game starts, and the talk about, first of all, let me go back to it. It was their day off.
Yeah.
I didn't see a big deal about it. You get a day off. Assume what you do on your day off, as long as you're there by Tuesday, ready to go, ready to practice. They had 6 days, for God's sakes, to get ready for this game.
Yeah.
I think this is a case of they just drop the balls.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, I think that you have to have a certain level of concentration going
Yes.
into a game. I think at the professional level, some of that stuff might be lost. To me personally, I want my team to be prepared. I mean, this is, you basically win 3 and you're Super Bowl champions.
And when you lose, you go home.
So I did basically just tell my players there's a lot of times to go to Miami.
Yeah, you'll be able to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, the trip made no sense in a sense. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why you drop balls or if anyone has a good game or a bad. To me, it doesn't make a difference. I'm just saying, if you and I had a job to do, then, we're going to put that job as a priority.
Yes,
It's not like, oh, I'm going to go to Miami.
because I have a day off,
Because I'm off today, so I'm going to go to Miami.
and I can.
Especially knowing that, you have something big that you're preparing for at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, South Beach is always going to be there.
That's right.
But I think that of course, had they won, then we wouldn't be having this this conversation. But they didn't, and unfortunately, a number of the receivers dropped balls.
Yeah.
But as far as the DBs were concerned, I don't think any of them went on the trip. But unfortunately, that second half they were getting torched.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean,
Aaron
safety,
Rodgers is just really good.
and he really proved. And so now they've won 7 in a row. They're red hot, and now they're going down to Dallas And am I willing to bet against them? That game, but of course the Sunday games started out with the Steelers and the Dolphins, and it was the one that I actually got right. I did. I did. Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. The odds were I was going to hit one.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I'll give it to this. Matt Moore took one of the most
Vicious
shots I've seen in a long time, and missed a play, not a series. Not a half, not a quarter. He missed a play and came back in. So hats off to him for just gutting that one out.
And it was almost like he was defensive. He's out of the pocket, so you're just like a running back as a quarterback out there. It was almost like he was defenseless. When he threw the ball, you just knew that he was going to get lit up. Now, they talk about the targeting and everything, the way he kind of went in on his head. I mean,
right.
How was your thought about that? Because the helmets did collide, and it actually made his head
go back.
Yeah.
It kind of hit more underneath.
Right.
It hit the face
Which
mask.
is the dangerous part.
It is, but it didn't hit his chin
Right.
or his jaw, but it hit the face mask and sort of threw the helmet back. I think the guy was already in motion. He'd already, left his feet. He was going for the hit.
Yep.
And he got rid of the ball almost about the exact same time. I don't think it was a dirty hit, but it was clearly a vicious hit.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it was a dirty hit either. And if we go back to the last game of the Lions season last year where Aaron Rodgers threw that Hail Mary, but it was aided by a penalty the play before. Where it was they called it a face mask, but they showed the replay, brushed his shoulder, didn't even touch his face mask. Or when the Lions a couple weeks ago on Monday night tackled Ezekiel Elliott, and they said they tackled him a little bit too hard. You saw that one, right?
No.
They said he tried to suplex him, but he picked him up, and when he came down, he landed on himself. He didn't throw him on the ground.
Yeah.
So he jumped up, but landed
brought him down into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still threw the flag. For roughing. But so that's what I'm seeing. I see a play like that with Ezekiel Elliott getting tackled.
Right.
And then I see Matt Moore just absolutely get tattooed.
Yeah.
One's a flag, one's not a flag. How many times you see Cam Newton get hit low or too high or whatever, no calls.
No calls.
Yeah.
This has been probably the most bizarre year as far as officiating. We're officiating every single week.
Yeah.
Not, every other week or a couple of times. That we're officiating, where they have had to absolutely admit they made the wrong call, or they blew a call, they didn't call one.
They came out today in the Lions game.
And it's and I think that again it goes back to the fact that I think that these are the only officials that are not full time.
Yeah.
Where it probably should be. And
So are these Sin City refs?
well, listen.
Just a little plug for our friend Preston.
Yeah, they wish they had Preston and Sin City refs.
That's right.
But I think that it's I've never seen this many penalties ever, and they say one of the reasons why people are sort of turning off the NFL is that these games are going entirely too long, where you have challenges, where you have excessive penalties, where now a deep route you almost have a 50-50 chance that it's either going to be a catch or a penalty.
Yeah, pass interference.
Yeah, and so it's I think they need to kind of scale back if they want, and otherwise these games are going to continue to drag on.
Well, I think my concern is that from someone that watches football, that's watched for 20 years or more, that they're kind of dumbing down the game in a sense, because it's almost forecast like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And just simple stuff. I'm a Lions fan. I'm not saying that the game was fixed. Seattle handled us, but just one of the plays in particular, Tate was running down the sideline, clear. The Stafford throws it up there. The guy literally clearly grabs Tate, was holding on to him, and they threw the flag, but then they picked it up and said that the ball was uncatchable. Well, yeah, it's uncatchable because the guy's running full speed and being held. Yeah, that will make it uncatchable.
It's almost like in a way they're trying to justify the penalty, but at the same time when they give you the penalty. Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, he couldn't get to it because he was being impeded, so therefore it was uncatchable.
Right.
Yeah, well, if he was allowed to maybe get a chance at it, then. But
Yeah, but that's the type of stuff I see, and I saw that Roger Goodell was in the house in Seattle watching that game, and I just knew that you can just go and lay your money on Seattle at this point. I mean, they're not as going to affect that with their boss.
Well, that leads us to the upcoming division, NFC divisional and AFC divisional rounds. Saturday and Sunday.
Wait, so we got Torrance on the line.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. So, in fact, let's get him online because he clearly is going to have an opinion on this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's for sure. Are you there?
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
There he is. What's up?
All right. What's going on, man?
Everything's lovely. Everything's looking mighty rising up over here, man. We're rising up on this side of
Dirty
town.
birds.
The Dirty Birds are back in the house. And you got them on your turf.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
So that is, let's see, I'm looking and I'm just double checking. That is the very first game.
It is the first game.
On
it is
Saturday.
The first game.
Yeah. So how are things down in Atlanta? You guys hungry to get? I know you're anxious to get back at the Seahawks because you were clearly robbed.
I'll tell you, we call this the redemption game. This is the game that everybody wants back. We've been praying for this. We've been praying. We were so happy. We were so happy Seattle won that game. We was like, thank you, because we got a score to settle with Mr. Richard Sherman, and we're in our hometown now. So we're just gonna, it split the secondary a little bit.
I hope so. I'm all with Matty Ice right now.
Yeah, Matty Ice, man, is definitely an MVP candidate. He's doing very, very well this year.
Well, I tell you what, the Falcons right now, you guys are, you are peaking now. It's
right.
It's not a situation where you just kind of barely made it or eked in there. You guys have been rocking and rolling, and you've been putting up some serious points, and that defense has really gotten better game after game after game.
Oh, indeed, because yes, they have. Victor Beasley has stepped up. 15.5 sacks this year, leading sack leader.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely, you can consider him as the defensive player of the year, possibly, but I see it that way right now, and that defense really helped us win a lot of games. We won like our last 4 games straight. I think we're looking pretty good. You got your Deion Jones rookie. That rookie, he had 108 tackles this year, and Keanu Neal had like 104 tackles. So these boys really come to hit out there.
That's nice. Yeah, well, my wife's a huge Atlanta fan, and she's happy.
Really.
Yeah, we visited Atlanta a couple months ago, and I almost bought an Atlanta sweatshirt. I was gonna buy a hoodie, and I was like, you know what? Let me just hold off. And now look at it. I could have been busting that thing up.
You know what? You gonna have to buy. You have to buy that sweatshirt. Man. We gotta get you that sweatshirt, Jeff.
All right, man. Go buy and get it for me, man. I'll send you some cash.
Indeed. Yes, I think it's gonna be a great game. Everybody in the city is just riled up. They've been anticipating. As everybody said, meet me at my house. Meet me at the sports bar. We're gonna tailgate. We just gotta get to the biggest screen and just enjoy what's about to happen right now. We're looking for a victory this Saturday.
Well, you guys are in a very unique position. I mean, as the number 2 seed,
True indeed.
You knock off the Seahawks, and I'm telling you, the way Green Bay is looking right now, they're going to give the Cowboys really a lot to handle. Right now, Rodgers is playing out of his mind. But obviously, go ahead, man.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Aaron Rodgers right now, like you said earlier, he won 7 games straight. He had total now, I think, 22 touchdowns with no interceptions. He's
over 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's got maybe 43 or 44 touchdowns. He had regular season 40 touchdowns, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the regular season, yeah. As far as his total stats is 40, like they said 43 or something like that, 44. Yeah. But all around, man, Aaron Rodgers is Mr. Cool, man. He extended play Hey, he has made a lot of plays. Randall Cobb stepped up last night, caught a lot of great passes. It seems to me that he was practicing. He didn't go out and party like some of the other guys that was dropping passes.
So what do you think about Jordy Nelson with some broken ribs? They're saying he's not going to play. I mean, how do you think that's going to affect receiving core?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this one thing about Aaron Rodgers, and it's the same thing Matt Ryan is doing. Great players know how to utilize all their teammates. So, Jordan Nelson went down, but you see a lot of other players stepped up. Adams had like 5 catches. He went over 100 yards also. So he moved the ball, and Cooks caught like 4 passes. So Aaron Rodgers is a vet, man. He's one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league. He's like an upgraded Steve Young. He can run, he can throw, he can see. He's tough, man. Aaron Rodgers is tough. He's a dangerous guy. Dallas will have their hands full.
Yep.
Well, and I look at that game because if the Rodgers mojo continues, their next stop would be Atlanta.
Hey, we're ready for him.
And you'll be hosting the NFC Championship game. So
and you know what? That's how it's so set up that that's our biggest nemesis. We got to get rid of little brother, Seattle little brother Seahawks. We're gonna get rid of them, but we owe Green Bay because they beat us that time we had home field advantage. We had that bye week, and they destroyed us and went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm looking at a week off by the Cowboys, and I think that Dak will have a pretty decent game. I think that the young man is playing very well, and he's literally been playing with one arm, behind his back. I mean, with the specter of Tony Romo over his shoulder like a vulture.
Right.
And, he's got Romo on one shoulder, and then on the other shoulder, Jerry Jones. And
exactly.
So, and I keep thinking that, should he come out the gate a little slow, a little sluggish, you best believe that hook is coming.
Oh, they better not do it.
And I think that Jerry can't help himself, and obviously their coach has little or no say in this.
Oh no, he doesn't have a say at all.
Yeah.
So
when that call comes down, if he wants to get paid and have that job left, he
37-yard touchdown run, Bo Scarborough, 14-0 Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama's gonna win that game.
Yeah,
Scarborough 71-yard rushing, 2 touchdowns first half.
Yeah, I think that one's. I was just kind of jokingly calling it at 7-0, but 14-0 with that defense. All the Alabama has to do is manage the game from here.
Yeah. Everyone in the sports books were betting Clemson, so that should have been a sign for you right there.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It's still a second half. Anything can happen.
Yeah, this is true.
Clemson generally a better first half team, but we'll see if they can put something together.
Right.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now let's see.
I think.
But go ahead, man.
Oh, I was gonna say when you was talking about the Dallas game, I think if Green Bay, how Dallas beat Green Bay the first time they played them, they beat them on a run. So they can actually alternate Zeke and McFadden and kind of put pressure on the linebackers on the forefront, and then possibly maybe a safety have to come down. Then you can utilize your guy Witten, Dez over there, or Beasley, like little Wes Welker.
Yeah.
I think Dallas is going to have to fight for their life to win this game. This is going to be their toughest game.
Oh, no doubt.
Bay is on.
The stage is set. They've got home field throughout the playoffs if they win. And in a short bus ride down to Houston. So
right.
It's
right.
It's all the ball's in their court. They've got basically, in a sense, nothing to win. Nothing to gain by winning because they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But everything to lose. They've got one of the best records certainly the best record in the NFC. They got home field, which is what they wanted because I think they were absolutely terrified about having to go up to Seattle. And somehow playing.
They didn't want to go to Seattle.
And rightfully so. I don't think anybody wants to go up to Seattle to play.
No, nobody wants to play up there in the playoffs.
But I think that I'm thinking this is going to be probably a high-scoring game because neither defense really scares the other.
Right.
And I think that Ezekiel is going to have a great game. I think he's going to and that the play action option that they have once you get their running game going, it completely opens up the playbook for Dallas.
Right.
But I think that it's going to be awfully tough for Dallas to stop Aaron Rodgers. Jordy Nelson or not.
Who can stop him? I mean, the guy's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
And he's really playing better than I've seen him play.
All Green Bay has to do is keep this game close.
Right.
Right.
And
If they
have
could
the ball last.
If they can protect Aaron Rodgers, then the game is over. If they get him more, he had 9 seconds sometimes back there.
And this was against the Giants. This is.
And the Giants have a great defense.
Now, were they in the number 2 defense in the NFL?
Which is, I think they said though, two of his his right guard and his left guard just came back. They haven't been playing for the last few games, but they just came back. I think it was the right guard and the left guard, but 2 of his linemen just came back. They starters, so that might have made a difference too.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, when you give anybody like him 8-9 seconds to throw the ball, he's going to find somebody.
Somebody's going to be open.
And and he keeps making it, and he keeps doing it over and over and over again. But it was a difference between the first half and second half. But once he got his mojo going,
Yeah, because he got, he actually was sacked 5 times. They sacked him 4 times in the first half.
Yeah.
And they had 7 total yards in the first quarter. They was really getting shut down. And the Giants blew those touchdowns and those key plays, and they really got back in the game on this. I think you mentioned earlier when they went for it on 4th down, and they gave it to him at the 41-yard line.
I'm looking at the futures right now in the NFL.
Because
I'm always a betting guy, but let me just give you the breakdown right now. Seattle 9-1, Packers 7-1, Chiefs 8-1, Falcons 6.5-1, Texans 60-1, 61, Cowboys 4-1, Steelers 8-1, and Patriots plus 1.5. So it's basically 1.25 to 1. Huge favorite.
Yeah,
but you have to bet one of these AFC teams. I mean these NFC teams. So you know one of these teams are going to be there.
Oh.
So there's no reason why not to bet Atlanta. Put 100 on Atlanta. Put 100 on Packers. Put 100 on Seattle. One of those 3 teams are going to be there. The Cowboys
and 10 on Houston.
Yeah, and you can put $20 on Houston. $20 is $1,200, dude. I mean, think about that.
Yeah, look, anything could happen. I mean,
anything
a bad hit on Brady.
Well, the reason why I don't think it's going to be Houston, and why I wouldn't put the money on there, it's never happened where a home team has been in the Super Bowl, hosted the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think the NFL will allow it to happen, and it's not. I'm not even saying I just think that there is a. Well, I've given you my whole lowdown about the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. So Terrence, you don't really know about a lot of this, Torrance. So this is my whole thought.
All right.
I think Cam Newton found out before the Super Bowl that the Peyton Manning was going to win. Because if you look at the Super Bowl, Cam Newton was not the same player that played all year. I think that permanently damaged Cam Newton to a point where he doesn't even care. I watched him play several times this year, and he's just a different player. He's not trying to make plays anymore. He's like, what am I going to go out here and get killed for what, Because even if I get to the Super Bowl, they're not even going to let me win. I was the MVP. My team was 15-1. And they're telling me to sit this game out.
So,
and I actually think that there's some shady junk. I mean, that
really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then hang on there. When did he find this out?
You look conspiracy theorist a little bit about sports and things, his high powers who gave him a phone call and said, you ever seen Last Boy Scout?
Got to be thinking, get the ball to Billy Cole.
Exactly. In the beginning of the game where the guy pulls out the pistol and
Right.
Let's hope it doesn't
Yeah,
come to
exactly.
that. But I just want to make sure I'm clear here. So Cam got word about 15 minutes before kickoff?
I think in the morning. I think they called him in the morning.
Because the whole lead up to it, I mean, he and his father, I mean, they were both buck wild. I mean, they were talking crazy and acting crazy. And so you think that morning he got up and they said, hey,
he got a call.
It's not your day.
Okay, young man, we'll get you one.
This is like right out of, On the Waterfront.
Okay, no,
Marlon Brando.
It could have been like that, or it could have been like, hey, it's Louis. I know your family lives.
Okay.
One of those.
Okay. So it is like it's like on the waterfront.
I think
Marlon Brando says, I was a contender. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody.
Hey,
just
so
a
Jeff,
bum.
look, I could put. What about this situation? What you could make a situation worse than that? Imagine how Tom Brady felt when he got that second phone call. Same place, same results.
Against the Giants. Against Tom, it's not your day, man. Yeah, but we're undefeated. I'm sorry. You'll get it next time.
Okay, so you want my theory on that one?
Next time you play him.
Okay, so here's my theory on that one.
Right.
So I didn't think there was any way that the Patriots are going to win, and this is why. That was the season that they were supposedly caught cheating, filming games, right?
Right.
So you go undefeated. You have this big looming thing over you because you're stealing people's practices, right? Then you win the Super Bowl. I think that even that went from like the coaching staff. Look, man, let's just lose because if we lose, this can actually go away, and it did. I mean, imagine if they would have won. How much of a big deal that would have been for years. But the fact that they lost, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well they lost anyway.
Okay, be sure that we play that disclaimer about the opinions of. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Hey, if you want me to really get on Roger Goodell, man, I can go on about a 20-minute rant on why this guy's the biggest douche in of all the commissioners.
We'll dedicate a show to the Roger Goodell, and maybe see if we can have him on the show. Well, we'll see if he'll call in.
I would love to have him call in.
Conversation.
We'll have our people call his people, and
I'm sure he'll jump right on that. Well, he would already know that he's about to get worked over, so I don't think he would do that.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm not sure how we got a segue on that, but
I was just talking about cricket. Some of this.
So I know that you folks obviously in Atlanta are rooting for Green Bay, and you.
I think you'd want Dallas to win. I think Atlanta could beat either one of these.
I think that Atlanta wants to host. I think the fans want to be able to.
I would love to host the game and go to the Super Bowl, of course. So we'll root for them for that reason. But honestly, we don't care who it comes through. We go run through.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
you don't care.
How about a theory? Let's throw out another one of my theories.
Okay.
Since we're here. Okay, so here's the theory. The stadium's almost done in Atlanta. This stadium it dwarfs. It's actually right next to the Georgia Dome.
Yeah, it is.
It dwarfs the stadium, right?
Yeah. Right.
Maybe it's like, hey, man, we're going to let you get one more paycheck before we close this place down.
Okay. Get one more gate.
There you go, one more
gate.
It's all about the
money. How about we win the Super Bowl and we pay for this dome right near the door to us?
Well, I mean, if the owner, they did the math in Las Vegas. If Las Vegas builds a stadium, they will make more money in that 1 week than the stadium cost.
Is Home Depot handling most of the construction work over there?
And who gets
to my knowledge, I think they have a little private companies. I'm pretty sure Home Depot is supplying some of the supplies.
I have no doubt. I mean, considering who owns that team, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, because Mr. Blank himself, so he got the plywood and everything, the nails, the bolts.
Well, you tell Arthur to sit tight. He might get that call, saying, hey, look, sorry, it's just not your year.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Let's hope not. Right now, the way our offense is looking right now, I think like Matt Ryan is in his zone, man. Like, and the receivers. One of the key things that we have to do is protect Matt Ryan to get him time to utilize all the players. Because if our other receivers catch the ball, like Taylor Gabriel gets some nice slight catches, Sanu catch some balls. Talolo, remember he called a touchdown on him. If Robinson catch the ball, Freeman and Coleman do their part, And imagine what Julio do. It's like having LeBron out there.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's a big man.
Well, I think Julio's going to draw some attention, which is going to give other players opportunity. That's what I'm hoping. Get some big tight
that's-
end play.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for too. If you can make the linebackers try to chase down Coleman or Freeman, you can exploit that. Do a spread them 5 like that. Spread them a 5 or maybe 3.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have two of the most talented backs. I mean, combo. I'd say probably the most talented combo in the
Combo,
NFL.
I'll say combo. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about two solid backs in the backfield of Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man, they got extreme speed and they both can catch out the backfield, so that's a good thing.
And again, once that running game gets established, it opens up the playbook, and then
Yeah,
anything goes. I mean, you've got linebackers and DBs and safeties that are suddenly cagey, and they've got to protect the run, and with the receiver core that you guys have.
Okay, so I'm looking at this game right here. Thomas Rawls has 349 yards rushing for the season. How many did he have last week?
I'm not sure about
160
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
right? Is that
Yeah,
right? He almost
Yeah,
ran in that one game against the Lions. What he did in the whole season?
Yeah, I mean,
Good
unfortunately, the Lions were kind of out of their element.
And it made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, and and listen,
Limped in.
Stafford had a great year until he hurt his hand, and and it's just not easy,
Yes.
playing, with basically, a bad hand, a bad grip, and then you're playing out there in the cold as well, and they've never had a lot of really good success playing outdoors to begin with.
So Atlanta, number two offense in the league. Seattle, number 5 D. And then Seattle, the number 12th offense against the 25th D. I think I'm going to have to go with the over on that one.
Yeah. Seattle definitely. I think they
51
was like the top 5 in turnovers too on their defense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
So
wow, that's amazing.
I
right.
think they don't have a nice little schemes or whatever. I think it's just going to be hard to cover all the players. Atlanta's a lot better than they were at that time.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
I'm certainly pulling for Atlanta.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
You pull it for Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Kim will
I'm
have her jersey on, I'm sure.
I'm a Bucks fan, but I'm also an NFC South fan.
Right.
And so I mean, with the Falcons in it, I just think it's their time. I think you guys are peaking at the right time.
Well,
Yes,
And,
indeed, man.
I'm a
we are.
NFC North fan, and I hope all the other teams lose.
Well, you
Hey,
no
you
longer have
know.
a dog in the fight.
That's right. Well, Green Bay, we're still rooting against them.
Now, the other Saturday game, of course, is the long odds game.
Oh, Clemson scored.
Texans at New England. That's the evening game, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a 16 points. Is the
16 point spread.
16 point underdog.
Yeah, they're not giving Houston any respect whatsoever.
Well,
And
yeah.
it's worth it for me to put a tenner on the Texans at those odds.
Actually, it'd be a nice money line at 16 points, probably close to 3 to 1.
Absolutely. And if Osweiler wants to endear himself with the Houston faithful, let him go up there and knock off the Patriots, and then of course it opens up the entire Super Bowl. Yeah. Then it's anything goes.
That's
You know who's going in and they beat the Patriots?
be the Steelers, right?
I think the Steelers going anyway. I think it'll be the Steelers in Atlanta.
Well, I
That's
guess he's out of the walking boot. Patriots quarterback. So he was in one. Why he was still in that game is beyond me. I think it probably would have been a good idea that he, maybe, I think he could have gotten away with getting him out earlier.
Yeah.
But Big Ben needed to be, on the bench. And given the way that some of these quarterbacks have gone down, some of these really freak accidents, I wouldn't hesitate if I had a decent lead to pull my guy out,
Yeah.
just to be sure, for heaven's sakes. But I think that everybody believes that the Patriots are going to, do a number on Houston.
Yes, they will.
And so, I don't see.
I don't know about laying 16 points in a playoff game. But, I mean, Houston's offense, I've seen on many occasions, just completely get shut down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they only have a couple weapons. They don't have a big running game.
Well, they did early in the year against the Patriots. I mean, they really got smoked.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be that bad. But I think
But it could be.
New England.
Well,
I think New England will win comfortably.
Remember they lost to them 27-0 without Brady.
Yep. That was with the
Brady, I think.
yeah, the NC quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
NC State.
I think that if they have a comfortable lead, rest assured that Brady's going to get yanked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to yank him.
You have to, because then you don't want some guy out there, just looking to zero in on somebody. Hey, I'm getting beat bad.
Brady's a tough
he's back
guy,
there. Yeah, he's tough, but he doesn't run too well either. So you roll out of that pocket and somebody's coming up on you. I mean,
the only way for the Texans to beat the New England Patriots, they're gonna have to play some defense like the Giants did. They got to get in his face. That's the only way they can win. The way Miami beat them last year, like at the end of the season. If you can put pressure on Brady, then you can beat him.
Yeah.
But if he got enough time to see the field, it's over.
yeah.
So we get a touchdown. Clemson, Deshaun Washington, 8-yard touchdown run, 6:09 left.
14-7.
14-7.
All right, way to go,
Oh, wow.
Clemson. There you go. You guys mentioned there's a lot of football left.
Yep.
And well, hey, you know how my picks have gone lately.
Yeah, so Clemson.
I wanted to
they got a
land
lot
right
of football.
between here. I got a money line ticket and some Clemson action. So
Now the first game on Sunday, Steelers at Kansas City.
Oh.
First of all, let me preface this. I have a lot of family in Kansas City. I have been to Chiefs games, Royal games. The stadiums are right next to each other. It is my AFC team. It's always been Kansas City, and
I know you went to San Diego and Kansas City last year.
sure did. There were more
Okay,
KC fans
cool.
there than were Charger
Yeah,
fans.
well, that's nothing.
Oh, it was great. But I think that right now the Steelers are playing really good ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell has just been, he is an absolute, beast. I mean, the patience that he has to sort of, wait till the hole opens up and then sees it, and he's got that kind of speed where that he can hit that hole and, and just make things happen. But it's also that, the receivers are playing real well. Roethlisberger, again, they're a team that's kind of peaking right now. This is a team that they weren't even sure was going to even make the playoffs midway through the season. And, there was a lot of heat on Mike Tomlin and the entire team, but they are there and they are used to kind of being in this position.
Yeah.
And, I think it's going to be a very tough. KC is favorite, I think, as you mentioned, 2.
By 2, yep.
2 points. I would love to see Kansas City knock them off. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it.
I think that Andy Reid's a great coach. He has something that holds him up in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Goodell. You think it is? No, I'm just kidding. So
Making sure everybody turns their phones off.
Yeah, either it's him or maybe Alex Smith. Alex Smith's a good game manager.
He's a great manager.
Is
Great
what I
game
would consider him.
manager. Yeah.
He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Kind of keeps him in the game by throwing the ball away at the right time. He's not afraid to run a little bit. But is he a guy that's going to take you to the Super Bowl?
Well,
I mean, he could have won on some Super Bowl teams like Trent Dilfer.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if Trent Dilfer can do it, then
then that
I
opens
might
up
be able to do
the
it.
entire 32 team. That opens up every quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
If he can do it
Right.
with the 2000 Ravens, then so can someone else.
Jamarcus Russell?
Yeah. No,
No, okay.
I'm sorry.
Not anyway. Not Joey Harrington either.
I thought he was going to be good. I thought he was going to be real good.
Yeah, he's a bust.
But it's good. I think it's going to be a great game. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Steelers are going to figure out a way to win because they know how to win these games, and they certainly know how to win the close games.
Yeah.
So Torrance, what do you think? So are you calling Atlanta? What did you say? Atlanta and the Steelers?
I'm calling it Atlanta and the Steelers.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna call. I think Atlanta is going to beat Seattle, whoever we play, Dallas or Green Bay, we'll beat both of them, either or. I just think right now we just kind of on a roll, and Matt Ice in his zone, defense getting stronger. And Pittsburgh, I've been saying that, like, that's a team you just always got to look out for. I think Ben Roethlisberger's underrated. He's, like, super good. Like, he can just extend plays. He's accurate. Like, that's why Antonio Brown, I mean, he throws good lead passes to him. Antonio Brown, super fast. He's like a video game. And like you was talking about Le'Veon Bell, he's so patient. He like 2 steps ahead of everybody. How he move around. He's kind of like a upgraded Adrian Peterson, just a little more elusive.
Well, I think that if the NFL allows Ezekiel Elliott to not be tackled too hard, he could be a good running back also. I'm just kidding, man.
All
right, so
Zeke the Freak is a monster.
Okay, so a couple things before we get off. So my prediction for the Super Bowl is still alive. I had the Pats in Atlanta.
Right.
And Brett's was the Pats in Green Bay, but yours actually went down this week.
Yeah, I had the Giants.
You had the Giants. So
Yeah.
who was your AFC team? Do you remember?
It was the Patriots.
Okay, Patriots. Okay, so we're going to give you a mulligan on your NFC
Thank
team.
you. I appreciate it.
So who would you like? You got down to 4. You got Atlanta, Seattle, obviously Cowboys, Packers.
I am going to go with the Falcons.
The Falcons, okay.
I'm going to go with the hot hand.
Good choice. Good choice.
Going
Okay.
to go with the hot hand, but I still think the Patriots are going to be the AFC champs.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, they'll be in a championship game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the only team that has a chance to beat them at this point, in my opinion, would be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's
But they still have to beat KC in
Yeah.
order for that to happen.
You got to line this thing up just right.
Okay, so Torrance, give a plug to where you're at on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay, well, you can check me out on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm on Sports Debaters, TNC. You can catch me on Facebook. Then on my Twitter, Sports Debater at ATL.
And you do a lot of the Periscope stuff. I saw also some post and pregame stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of pregame on Periscope, a little live, just open discussions about the game, just your different opinions. No matter who you like, what team you're going for, I'm open to. I'm not biased. We just talk sports. But that's at Sports Debaters at 21. At ATL.
Okay.
And that's on the Periscope. Yeah.
And we don't have too much time left, but since you're down in Atlanta, what do you think about Kyle Korver going to the Cavs?
It's a time for everything. I just wish we would have been able to get rid of him, make that trade earlier when he was more valuable. We just got more from him.
Couple of players.
Yeah.
But we got one player, and then I think we got a draft pick for 2019. That's cool because you never know who's coming out. But right now, it looks like the Hawks in the rebuild stage. Although we got a few victories.
Well, I mean, they're in 4th place, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing a lot better than they were.
They're in 4th place in the conference.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's a tight conference,
like
man. There's 10 teams within 4 games of each other.
Yeah, it's I think the East has always been a very close conference in terms of the teams that end up making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it'll come down to like the last week before everything's, and teams can move sometimes not just one spot but 3 spots in the span of 2 weeks, near the end of the season. It's just that's the way it rolls. The West, you just tend to have more dominant teams. And it's just like there's almost like teams just basically playing to be cannon fodder for the the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to get bounced out pretty quick.
That's the Lions. I mean the business.
Yeah, you're right.
And the Lions and every other one. All right, so still 14-7. We're going to be wrapping up the show. Hold on one second.
Hang on a second, Torrance. We're getting a feed from our Las Vegas studio. John would like to. He's got a question for you. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Torrance.
Okay.
You're down there in Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'd like you to do me a really big favor if you can, man. Could you see if you can talk Paperboy into giving us a call, maybe being a guest on the show?
You say Paperboy?
It's become, believe it or not, one of my guilty pleasures is Atlanta. And I was glad to see the show won, I believe, Golden Globe. Yeah. It's, if anybody hasn't seen it, it is a great show.
Okay.
Well written, and if you could have Paperboy give us a call, that'd be great. even Ern, have Ern call us.
Have Ern call us.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I find him, I'll tell him.
I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
He's probably out in that invisible car.
Pretty much.
Oh, man. Well, listen, Torrance, thank you so much, man, for joining us.
Absolutely.
And, we didn't get a
thank you
chance
all
to talk a
very much.
lot of basketball, but I'm glad we had a chance to talk a lot about Atlanta football because we know you guys are excited down there.
Yeah, Brad.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Everybody in the city is definitely excited. We appreciate it. I want to thank everybody in Las Vegas also. Just from everybody in Atlanta, we wish y'all the best, and we'll see y'all Saturday.
And we will talk to you next Monday, so you'll be talking about who you guys are going to have teed up for the following week.
That's right. Well, I'll see y'all next Monday, fellas.
All right, man. Take care now.
All right, take care.
All right, it's Torrance Hall from Twitter, Sports Debaters,
Yeah.
Facebook Sports Debaters. Does a lot of Periscope. So if you have the Periscope, follow him on Periscope also. Sports
And obviously,
Debaters.
the excitement down in Atlanta is contagious. They're all set, and I'm certainly pulling for them this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have him at 8-1, so I'm really pulling for him. I might put a little bit more action at 7-1.
See, it looks like Clemson now has the ball with about 54 seconds left in the half. They're on their 9, so I think they're going to probably try to just sort of run this clock out and don't try to do anything really crazy. Last thing you want to do is have something really bizarre happen before the half.
So the second half we'll be watching live.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
So, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, my name is Bill Miller, co-host along with,
Jeff Belknap.
and we hope that you have a great week. It's going to be some exciting NFL football this weekend. The NBA is obviously heating up, and it looks like in the upcoming weeks we'll be adding soccer to our
Yes.
roster of sports to kind of keep an eye on. Stay tuned for us next week, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News, come to you from Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV, Corp.com. Have a great week.
God bless.